Well, we said it just moments ago. If you've watched the news at all the past couple of months, you most likely heard about the horrible effects that vaping has had on many users, children included, sending people to the hospital, including our youth, like I was just saying. It's so scary.
So today we're going to get some guidance, and we're joined by Kimberly Fraser, Executive Director of the Lake County Alcohol, Drug Addiction, and Mental Health Services Board. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for being here. This is really important.
Yeah, and let's dive into it first and foremost. Why do you think that it is affecting so many people?
You know, I think that there are a couple of things that are unique about this particular issue. First, we are seeing vaping targeting our kids like we've never seen before. Really, everything about it is trying to get our youth addicted. Even the design of the vaping cartridges and the methodology for vaping. It's targeting our kids. It's meeting them where they're at. We're trying to really play on their weaknesses and their vulnerabilities.
And here's the thing, it's not like you can smell this stuff. You're not smelling anything bad, let's put it that way. So
it smells like a fruity candle almost.
A parent, it's really, really scary. So can you talk about just factors for our teens? And we were even talking before the show. I mean, in some cases, it's middle schools.
Absolutely. You know, we need parents to know that you can't think that it's only going to hit high schoolers and older. We've got to be talking to our kids at younger ages, middle school, even the late end of elementary school, because these are the kids who are being targeted by this aggressive marketing. We need to be having these conversations about what is happening, what our kids are putting into their bodies, and what the dangers are of that.
Okay, so this is serious. This is not something to be taken lightly if you have a child who's using this. What makes this different than the other substances out there?
Well, you know, I think it is important to know that addiction is addiction. So we can't treat vaping as a behavior issue. Our kids are getting addicted to the nicotine and other chemicals, but what's really scary is they don't always know what they're putting into their bodies. In Northeast Ohio, we have found vaping cartridges, counterfeit cartridges, with things like cocaine, heroin, fentanyl. So it's not just about the nicotine. We also know that there are so many variables in these cartridges, so many unknowns. We've identified over 70 different chemicals, some of them toxic, within these vaping cartridges.
Oh my gosh.
So, we are at the front end of what could be a really horrible epidemic if we don't intervene quickly with our kids.
And what's really scary is on top of all of that, which is horrifying enough, the vaping pen itself is horrible for you.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
it's horrible for you.
Right. We don't even know all of the potential dangers, what we're putting into our system.
Right.
And our kids, you know, unfortunately, the part of their brain that tells them to put the brakes on, to be careful, that's not fully developed in our kids.
They're invincible.
Right.
They're
so
invincible.
that's why they're willing to take these risks.
So as moms and dads, what would you suggest that we look for? What would you want us to take away from this today?
You know, I think it's important to have the conversations and have them early. And conversations are not a one and done. We have to be talking to our kids repeatedly about the dangers of vaping or really putting any chemicals into our system. And then the important takeaway is if you know your child is already vaping, don't panic, don't overreact, reach out for help. Again, this isn't a behavior issue, this is an addiction issue. So getting your child connected with the appropriate behavioral health services is vitally important.
Yeah.
So have the conversation, reach out to Adams.
Exactly. Reach out to your local Adams board. Talk about what you need. Consultation can happen over the phone. And, you know, I think we all as parents feel like if we're not protecting our child from everything, that we're failing. The fact is that we've got 28% of high school students in the nation acknowledging that they're vaping on a regular basis. So this is not an us and them. This is really impacting all of us. Reaching out for help is okay. And asking for help doesn't mean that your child's going to be in therapy for the next 6 years. It could mean 1 or 2 sessions to really help find new coping mechanisms and help to break that cycle.
Hey, the worst thing is denial.
Right.
And I think
That's
that
true.
we're all guilty of it. You know, it's not going to be our kid. No, you know, it'll pass. And worst case scenario would be, you mentioned addiction is addiction. And I think the bottom line is addiction can lead to more addiction of things that are more dangerous.
Absolutely.
You want to nip it in the bud.
Absolutely. Early intervention is so key in this, and asking for help.
And I think the dangerous thing that you mentioned too is, I think it was before the show, kids are exchanging these things in the school bathrooms in some cases. Who knows where they're getting from, what's in it.
Exactly, exactly. Our kids aren't going to the local store and buying it off the shelf. They're getting it from each other, so they don't know what chemicals they're really putting into their body.
Yeah, and I think what's even more concerning as a parent is that this is all being marketed at them.
Yeah,
You know,
it is.
it's being sold as candy, for
It
goodness
is.
sakes.
Right.
It is. It's being sold as looks like a jump drive.
Looks fun.
Nobody's going to ask me what's going on with this. Looks innocent, right?
Looks
Yeah.
innocent, smells innocent.
It's cute.
It does.
And I mean, you had us smell it before the show. It tastes
was like
a
Tutti Frutti.
Right, like a gummy bear.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Yep. Scary stuff.
All right, well, these are all important conversations, and if you need to get in touch, we've got the information for you.
Okay, so you can call the Compass line, 350-2000 or 918-2000, and that's both 440. And then we have the website for you, that is www.helpthatworks.us.
Kimberly, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
This segment of It's About You was furnished by the Lake County Alcohol, Drug Addiction, and Mental Health Services Board.